Hey, brothers and sisters. This is Brother Elijah L. coming at you from Baltimore, Maryland. I want y'all to fully understand something, okay? I want y'all to know, first of all, that war has been declared on us from all types of angles and shit. But I really want you to understand their primary tool for waging war against the black people here in America. All right? And their primary weapon of mass destruction, okay, is television, media period, okay? Industry, as far as like cinematic films, news broadcasts, okay? Reality programming, okay? You will, even the comedy programming, okay? In fact, the comedy programming is about as close as you're gonna get to seeing anything that resembles what I would consider or call structurally sound or you know that's not really like slated as a weapon against you. But see, they'll do that with comedy. They'll show you family units in comedy programming because the shit is comedy. It's to be taken lightly going in. You understand what I'm saying? So when you watch that, when you tune into comedy, you're not tuning in it with the preconceived notion that you're gonna learn something from it, that it has some type of instructional value. You know what I mean? That you could gain from it. So you know your approach when you go to watch the shit has your apprehensions has already been lowered due to the genre, the classification of what you're watching, and it classifies itself as comedy. All right. But when you get into what's called quote unquote reality programming, you're gonna see shows like you know, Housewives of Atlanta and shit, Basketball Wives, all that type of shit. And it's there when you start seeing the individualism shit pushed heavily. Beware of the individualism shit. In fact, it is the individualism shit that is the goddamn arrow that's been put inside the goddamn bow. The bow being media, you know what I mean? Their weapon of mass destruction, media, is the bow. And the goddamn arrows, right, come in the form of reality programming and the things that I named. You know what I mean? News, you know what I mean? And shit like that. They're the arrows, right? Okay, so, and then you have also your court shows, divorce court, Maury Povich, Steve Wilkos, what's the British boy and shit, Cunningham, you know what I mean? You have all that shit, okay? And all of these shows push the individualism piece. They want you to operate in society. They want you to see, think, and behave as individuals, all right? Not as a construct, not as a uniform body, right? That's solidified or that's angled for black survival. You know what I mean? They don't want to show you no program that's going to show you as a unit, as a nation, operating as a nation, seeing and thinking as a nation, you know, addressing issues as a nation. They want you to address issues and operate through the society as individuals. And as long as you operate through the society and see, think, and behave as individuals, you will have friction. You will have conflict. You will have what we call drama. You understand what I'm saying? Because when you focus and thinking and seeing shit as an individual, you have all these little small ass idiosyncrasies in which people can step on. You understand what I'm saying? Because you're seeing your existence as the individual. So you begin to protect your margin, all right, as opposed to seeing yourselves as a body, a people, a nation, and protecting the margins of the body, the people, and the nation. But now, nah, you're seeing yourself as the individual. So you begin to protect the margin of the individual. All right? Feelings, emotions, reputation, and the big one, respect. You understand what I'm saying? All these little different things people can offend, and once these things get offended, you understand what I'm saying? You begin to lash the fuck out at your own people. You understand what I'm saying? You know? Tell you, man. You know, once you begin to study and shit like that, man, you'll be able to start and all I did just right there, man, was to just give you what I stress in all videos, man, comparative analysis. You know what I'm saying? I just now made a comparative analysis. But these type of things are easily to do, and you begin to recognize, yo, if you put in some real serious study, you know, involved. And then you'll begin to change the way that you see, think, and behave. You'll begin to take the coal out of your eyes. You'll begin to see life through a different lens, man. You know what I mean? The lens of a true awakened individual. You understand what I'm saying? But you'll never be a true awakened individual if you don't get out here, man, and begin to put in some work. You know what I mean? Put in some work for the nation. Put in some work for the people. You dig? So I think we definitely need to start seeing ourselves as a nation and as a body, and we must begin to wage war, y'all, on individualism in all its forms. You know, we have to fight the fuck back and swing back, man. That's why I say war is being waged on you through media. How they show you on the news. You understand what I'm saying? You know, in most major cities in here where black people reside, they're going to have a murder count clock running. You understand what I'm saying? They're going to always show how many murders is in your city. You know, they want to keep that shit up front. You know what I'm saying? And whenever they show any positive black stories, they're always going to counter that shit by reporting a negative black story. You understand what I'm saying? Because they don't want you to get too accustomed or too common to, you know, black normalcy. Okay? They want to make you appear and present you as abnormal, especially your children and your youth. Abnormal. In other words, they want to begin a propaganda campaign that singles you out. All right? And they do this shit for a whole lot of different reasons, you know. Their main reasons is to shift the focus, you know, shift the focus to pardon themselves, pardon their own conscience, okay, for the shit that they've done and the shit that they're doing and the shit that they plan on doing. You dig? Shit, you know. This is a self-cleansing resolve thing that's going on with them. You know what I mean? By showing you and presenting you as fucked up. You know, as the ill of society. Niggas. You there? Yeah, man. You know? But you got to counteract that shit, man. You know? I remember Professor Griffin when he made his little album and shit. He had this one line, and he said, and beat me, then you'll see I'll call you back with them black facts to counterattack that bullshit, cause I ain't having it. No, I ain't with it. You're busy confusing me. It's nonsense. It's worth about 2 cents. It's pathetic to think you're Semitic. It's often said by those of a foolish credit. Got it? You can fool the blind, but now it's time to rhyme. Come on. Griff was the shit back then. That's how that shit went, yo. It was dope as fuck. But yeah, man. He said, and beat me, and then you'll see I'll call you back with those black facts to counterattack that bullshit. Cause I ain't having it. No, I'm not with it. You're busy confusing me. It's nonsense. It's worth about 2 cents. You know? It's pathetic to think you're Semitic. It's often said by those of a foolish credit. Got it? You can fool the blind, but now it's time to rhyme. You know? Yeah, man. So you got to counterattack that bullshit, man. You got to understand that war is being waged against you. And this is their most dangerous weapon. Goddamn media. That goddamn, the goddamn mechanism they use to let society, society believes when they see you on these programs and shit, or see how you're presented on the news. Hey, walaikum assalam, sister. How they presenting us on television and shit like that. They actually believe that shit. That when they are really getting a front row seat and peering into the lies and the ways of the nigga. You dig? It's like fucking going to a goddamn exhibit of sorts, and getting a front row seat and a look into how niggas, behave and act within their goddamn habitat. You dig? That's a rhyme for your ass, trying to get a front row seat and looking into the ways that niggas behave and act in their habitat. And that's straight like that, man, So you have to counteract that shit. For that propaganda, you have to do anti-propaganda. And not just by simply clearing up your image, but you got to also then, swing back too, Let's go to the goddamn historical record, And that's the importance, man, of us having goddamn black networks, man, That's why they are so against black networks. You know what I mean? This is why why Bill Cosby's son Ennis got killed. When he first started talking that network shit and they told him stand the fuck down. We let you make enough money off the Cosby shit, nigga. Chill. And he tried to go, another route and shit. And they wasn't having that shit. So they popped Ennis in his motherfucking head and left him on the side of the road. And I honestly believe they used the same motherfucking hitman on the Ennis Cosby murder that they used on the Michael Jordan father murder. Because you remember, Michael Jordan's father was a gambler just like Michael Jordan ass is. And he had racked up a ton of goddamn debt. And they snatched his father. And they gave his father the phone to call Michael and shit. And they only kept extending these large lines of credit on the strength of his son. They felt as though, okay, we're going to let the old man get into a big ass hole and, thinking, and we'll make his son pay for it, And, they snatched him and shit and gave him the phone, told him, call your son up. And he called Michael and shit, and Michael refused to pay the loan. I mean, not the loan, he refused to pay the debt for his father. He treated that shit with a minimum of concern. And they popped the old man and shit, Tiger Woods, same shit, racked up all that goddamn debt in Vegas and shit. And see, these motherfuckers don't understand, man. When these big celebrities with all this bankroll and shit, and they know these motherfuckers like gambling and shit, and they come to casinos, man, they're going to give you a hotel room. And they have certain hotel rooms that's already rigged up with cameras and shit. And they're going to throw a few hoes your way. Some fine white hoes for the niggas. Because they know that you multi-millionaire niggas have a propensity for poor white trash. That's the flavor that you niggas savor. You can't get enough of that dish. You know what I'm saying? So they serve them up. Look at all them goddamn white hoes and shit. Poor white trash looking bitches talking about, I slept with Tiger, I slept with Tiger, I slept with Tiger. He was coming out the woodwork. And when he ain't paid that goddamn gambling debt, they used all that footage, and dropped it on his ass. That's the way that they had something on your ass in case you try to, avoid kicking that bread out. And you gotta remember, man, casino is a gangster business, man. They not playing with you, nigga. And they begin to hang around the house and shit like that. And you remember, he was married to that little white nanny bitch. She was a nanny over in England, over in Britain and shit. And he married her. And she told him, Tiger is a scary man knocking on the door, and they hanging around. They parked outside the house. You know what I mean? You gotta remember, these motherfuckers live in kind of like a secluded community of some huge properties, you know? And they had these gangsters and shit hanging all around. You know what I'm saying? And she got upset. He would just tell her, you know, just ignore him, don't open the door, you know. I better call the cops. No, don't call the cops. I know who it is. You know, he trying to brush the shit off and shit. And they finally caught up with his ass. I guess she called him another time and told her, you know, look, I'm really scared. Come home now. You know, some shit. And they caught his ass and they put that goddamn ass whipping on him. Remember, the nigga had like 2 black guys. They fucked the truck all up because he probably, when he pulled up, they pushed up on the goddamn vehicle and he probably tried to lock himself in. You remember the back window of the motherfucking SUV was shattered out and one of the side windows. Now, this is a motherfucker that been swinging golf clubs all his motherfucking life since he was like fucking 4 or 3 years old, right? They got pictures of his daddy had him on the Mike Douglas show when he was like 3, you know, and they had a little artificial golf putting hole set up, and his little ass was on there with his father and shit when he was like 3 years old, knocking in putts and shit, right? So this little kid that been swinging, this is a motherfucking man now that been swinging golf clubs for over 30 motherfucking years, golf clubs, you know what I mean, knocking shit, you know, 700 yards and shit off of one swing. That's 6-7 football fields. You know what I mean? Yeah, he knocking shit like a goddamn block, the length of a goddamn block, a city block. You know what I mean? And they want you to believe that this little goddamn 5'2", 5'3" nanny, you know, fucked him up, beat him up like that. You know, they fucked him up bad. You know, face all on swole and shit, bruised the fuck up. Vehicle fall fucked up and shit. You know, they told you that the nanny did that shit. You know? Nah, man, nanny ain't do that shit. Goddamn gangsters caught up with his motherfucking ass. She was scared. In fact, after that shit and after they fucked him up like that and shit, she split. She went back to England and filed a divorce, and I think it's one of the biggest divorce settlements. It ain't the biggest, but it ranks in one of the biggest. I think she got something like 50 million out of his ass. Yeah, I think it was 50 million. 50 or 70 that she got out of his ass, you know? They wasn't even married that long and shit. You know, you got that goddamn appetite for them white bitches and shit, and then you fuck around and then you get a prenup. Pussy whip motherfucker. You know? Unbelievable. But yeah, man, we got to start, you know, fighting back against this media, you know, this media attack that's on our people, man. You know what I mean? And most people don't even understand why the murder rates be high in predominantly black cities. It's nothing strange about the shit. It's normal, you know? Wherever you have certain conditions, man, you're liable to have, you know, a certain type of certain shit going on. In other words, you know, where there's poverty and shit, you know what I mean? You're likely going to see all type of vices of making money, you know, because these people are impoverished. So, you know, they're going to resort to all types of creative ways, and most of them are going to be either what society calls criminal acts, or they're going to be, you know, cons of some type. You know what I mean? And the cons, you know, man, shit, they can range from any goddamn thing, you know, from a goddamn women calling herself reading palms and milking old people, you know, to goddamn credit cards, to goddamn, you know, prostitution, narcotics, you know, child exploitation, you know what I mean? Porn and shit on film, you know what I mean? Goddamn black market sales of guns, babies, all kinds of shit, you know? You find these things in impoverished environments, down in Mexico and all that shit, kidnapping, extortion of business owners, you know what I mean? You know, snatching motherfuckers for ransom, armed robberies, home invasions. These are the things you're gonna find wherever you have poverty, because motherfuckers are all competing and buying for a little bit of resources. You know what I'm saying? Where there's not never enough resources to go around and you have a whole bunch of motherfuckers competing. That's like having, that's like going to a penitentiary, man, and bringing 3 goddamn cakes and telling niggas, alright, on mark, set, go. You're gonna have motherfuckers, cake is not something that's regular or that's common or, throughout the goddamn prison system. So therefore, when something of rarity comes through, the value of the motherfucking shit, skyrockets. And wherever the value skyrockets of something in places where impoverished conditions exist, you're gonna find murders and shit like that, because motherfuckers want it even more. Because the value now has gone high. Because that's some rare shit, and it ain't so often that motherfucker get a chance to sink their teeth into. You dig? And now they're just talking about cake, but that's on the streets or any goddamn thing. So wherever you have these type of things existing, you're gonna have a high murder rate. And when you have cities like Detroit, Baltimore, New Orleans, you know what I'm saying? What do these cities have in common? They're predominantly black cities, Detroit and Baltimore Detroit was like 78% black. Baltimore is like 73% black. You know what I mean? New Orleans and shit is somewhere like around 62% black. So you know what I mean? And all of them are below, the majority of the people living within it is below the poverty line. You know what I'm saying? They're impoverished cities. You dig? So these motherfucking niggas is out there competing for a little bit of shit to go around. Cash, money, food, clothing. All the rarities and luxuries of life that, every motherfucker can't afford to have. But motherfuckers want it. They don't just say, okay, we can't afford to have it, so I guess we just won't have it. No, man, niggas don't say that. Niggas say, damn, I want that, we can't afford to have it, how the fuck can we get it? And they gonna go get that shit by hook or crook. They were gonna raise some goddamn funds, do some type of what society deems as criminal activity, I told you, or do some type of con, or they gonna find somebody who got what they want and take their shit. You understand what I'm saying? And this is not a black thing. Wherever you have poverty, you're gonna have motherfuckers operating on that same type of functioning shit. If you go to Hong Kong, where there's poverty in Hong Kong, and you got 70-83% Chinese motherfuckers in that environment, right? You're gonna have a high Chinese on Chinese murder rate. You dig? So you go to these cities and shit where it's impoverished and they got 73% niggas or 78% niggas, you're gonna have a high black on black crime rate. It's impoverished. And the majority of the people there are black. It's basic goddamn computation, man. 1 + 1 + 1 is 3. And it's gonna always be fucking 3. No matter what kind of lie or how you try to, dress it up or present it. The fact that 1 + 1 + 1 is 3 is not gonna change. So they always talk around the issues and shit, and try to act like, they don't know why the fuck the murder rates are high like that. They want to present the shit as, what's wrong with the niggas? Why are they killing each other? You dig? And when motherfuckers come along like me or anybody else who really tells them what they already know for real, but just acting like they don't know, they playing a dummy game, when we do come along and say they won't present our argument on television. No. They'll find some goddamn dumb, stupid motherfucker, that'll sit there and talk about the symptoms instead of the core of the problem. They'll talk about the systems, education, they talk about the symptoms, drugs, education. Those are just the symptoms of the shit. But the core of what's happening is poverty. And that poverty is by design. You understand what I'm saying? And the motherfucker, it's like a water faucet. And the goddamn crackers own the faucet and their hand is on the knob. And they turn on the goddamn, the goddamn opportunities and the resources. Or they could turn it on heavy. They can turn it down to a trickle, and they can turn the motherfucker off completely. You want to allow some jobs in the community? I turn the faucet on a little bit. You want to allow some goddamn, more opportunities, better education in the city? I turn the faucet on a little bit. And they do that shit through society. If you read them goddamn protocols, like I told you, you'll see where they said that, we will cause the depressions and shit like that. And they say we will cause the wars. Wars and depressions are necessary to bring about our desire of, our goal, which is one world government. They sit there and admit that shit. We control the wars, we control the economy and the depressions. And wars and depressions are necessary to bring about our goal. Crisis creation. This is basic shit I be telling y'all, right? Goddamn crisis creation, yo. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I want y'all to understand, really what's going on, man. And don't sit there and let them motherfuckers, and sit there and feed you a whole bunch of bullshit. Remember what I told you that Griff said, and beat me and then you'll see I'll call you back with them black facts to counterattack that bullshit. Counterattack that bullshit. Alright? So I want y'all to, stay up and shit and begin to see things, hopefully through its proper perspective, alright? I want y'all to start seeing shit through its proper perspective, man, And stop, because the majority of our people, man, they believe that the shit that they see on the news and what the news is telling them and shit, they believe it's real, that it's happening, because they seen it on the news. You know what I mean? But they don't think of questioning, well, who owns the news? And perhaps the motherfuckers that own the news, perhaps they have an intent that's not in black people's best interest or for our benefit. They don't even think to question shit like that, or to even entertain that idea that perhaps maybe our government and the news owners and the media owners don't have our interests at heart, because they think they believe and see themselves as what? African Americans. That's what that American shit is very important, yo. That American piece, that gives the goddamn, that gives niggas the false idea of inclusion, the misrepresentation of inclusion. That by saying African American, okay, blacks don't need a seat at the United Nations because, America has a seat there. And when America is there, niggas is there. Blacks don't need our own military because we have the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines. Blacks don't need our own agricultural and food producing system because, the United States has, takes care of shit like that. You see what I'm saying? It's like the goddamn slave master running around, and he gave the slaves his last name. And then you had niggas walking around, I was Mr. Austin's nigga, or I was Mr. Johnson's nigga, or I was Mr. Williams' nigga, or, I was Mr. Green's nigga. I was Mr. Bethea's nigga. You see what I'm saying? I was Mr. Freeman's nigga. I was Mr. Davis's nigga. You know, I was a Davis. I was a Green. I was a Williams. You know what I'm saying? Giving them the false, so then, you would tell them shit like, you gotta make sure that, nobody comes on a goddamn plantation that don't belong and start taking shit. Shit like that. So you gave the motherfucker slave your last name, that makes them feel, that gives them the false idea of inclusion. And then you start telling them as if they have some responsibility to the property, as if they reap some type of benefit by protecting the property, going out of their way for the particular property or whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? And that's how they all end up with the false impression of inclusion. You see what I'm saying? And it's a very dangerous mental state to be in, because what it does is it starts to create a schizophrenic mentality in the individual, in which they become incapable of seeing and dealing with the reality of what's going on around them in their own surroundings and within their own life. You know what I mean? Their life has become basically it's a fairy tale construct, all designed by the motherfucking by the designer, who in the case of the slave and the master is the master. You know what I'm saying? And in the case of African Americans and America, it's America, the government, the government, the master. You know what I mean? The governing body, the entity. The boss. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it becomes. So, all right, brother. This is Brady Light L. Peace.